Welcome to I Got a Guy podcast, a podcast carefully designed to introduce a wide range of very talented and highly skilled professionals ready to share their knowledge and advice with you. Please welcome the host of I Got a Guy podcast, Michael Drelichars. Welcome to I Got a Guy podcast. I'm your host, Michael Drelichars. Thank you so much for being here. To our loyal subscribers and listeners, thank you so much for coming and tuning in again today. To anyone that's new to I Got a Guy podcast, we really welcome you and hope you enjoy the episode and enjoy the information you'll be hearing from our guest today. And if you are new and you want to catch up on any past podcasts, I encourage you to go to igotaguypodcast.com. That's igotaguypodcast.com for all the past episodes and the synopsis of each one of our guests and see how they might be able to answer a question or serve a need you might have. So that's really the purpose of I Got a Guy podcast, just helping the public out and helping my referral partners out and my customers, giving back, helping them grow their businesses. And I'm all about small business. I own a small business myself, which is Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions. We'll talk about that a little later. But really the purpose of I Got a Guy podcast is help small businesses get some additional attention and some traction and help them grow. We are recording this episode early 2024. And so whenever you listen to this episode, know that we're starting the year off. We're kickstarting this year and getting it rolling. We're excited about 2024 and hope you are as well. As you know, I Got a Guy podcast was born out of a book called The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver is a great book talking all about how giving really helps grow businesses. And they have 5 laws of stratospheric success in the book. And one of them I wanted to touch on today, which mirrors who our guest is today, is the law of value. And it's defined by give more in value than you receive in payment. And as you get to know our guest today, he's a returning guest, but as you get to know him and hear his story, you'll understand how that law really applies to what he does. And I'm so proud to call him a friend and have him here as a guest again today. So please help me welcome Alan Stern from Persona Marketing. Alan, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. First off, how about that big musical introduction, brother? I just got to say, before we get started, I genuinely just want to turn it back to you and say, appreciate the opportunity and appreciate your support throughout the journey, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad to be part of it. And you've helped me out tremendously. And I love what you stand for, what you share, the information, the quality, and your energy level. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So tell us about Persona Marketing.
Yeah, Persona Marketing is my company. It's, if I can oversimplify it, it is a marketing company for the individual salesperson. My background is in owning a DJ company for about 17 years and selling cars for about 13 years. 2 completely unrelated fields, but they're both production-based roles, so I've had to market myself on a shoestring budget for a decade and a half. So I started this company with the philosophy of you don't build a brand, you build people. And people are the ones who actually build your brand for you. Hence the term, people don't buy from brands, they buy from the people that represent brands. So all of my company is based around do-it-yourself marketing for the salesperson, leveraging AI. So that way they don't have to outsource their marketing to a company and pay, $500 to $1,000 a month like many marketing companies charge.
Right. So it's interesting. You mentioned individual salespeople. So these could be small business owners, but they could be corporate employees that work a territory, right?
They could, absolutely. So the target is realtors, loan officers, insurance agents, coaches, anybody who needs to be the face of the business, and most importantly, sell trust in a relationship before their product or service.
Yeah, that's really important. Yeah, because people do buy from people they trust.
100%. So and I love how you referenced Go-Giver earlier, one of my all-time favorite books. I talk a lot about that actually in my presentation.
Yeah. So so as an individual salesperson, independent contractor, what have you, or small business owner, you need to differentiate yourself in your market, and you need to build trust with your audience. And so your marketing tools help them differentiate themselves and establish that trust.
Absolutely. So just to put a couple stats into perspective, this is alarming, by the way, but feel free, anybody who's listening to this, to go and fact check this. If you were to go on Google right now and type in how much time does the average person spend a day on social media, Mike, what do you think that number would be?
I've heard this before, and I'm drawing a blank on the number. Sorry,
2 hours and 37 minutes. That is
2 hours and
absurd. Now,
37 minutes.
I will have you know, I heard that and I immediately said, there's no way that that applies to me. And I went and I looked at my screen time. I got served a slice of humble pie. So let's add those numbers up real quick. And let's just round it to 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours is the equivalent over the course of a year of 864 hours, which is the equivalent of 36 full days somebody
Mm,
spends a year on social media. So I always share that with my clients because a lot of people are like, hey, I know this social media thing is here, it's not going away, but should I be marketing myself on it? The obvious answer is if you're somebody who's in business for yourself and you have a platform where people spend over a month of their entire life on a year, probably a good idea to start marketing. Now, to go a layer deeper, the average person sees somewhere between 4,000 and 10,000 advertisements every single day. You pair that with the fact that the average attention span of a human being nowadays is 8.25 seconds. You got a lot of work if you're going to cut through the noise. So what I do is I teach a method called the HEAT method. It combines
mm,
humor, education, adding value, which is huge from the Go-Giver, by the way. That's why I love that you
mhm.
referenced that book, and trust. You mix all four of those into your content strategy. What happens is you can meet somebody in person once, whether it be at a networking event, at a concert, at a wedding, whatever that is. Add them on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then based off of the kind of content that you post, you meet them once and they begin to know, like, trust you, ultimately making you easy to refer or do business with when that time comes.
Right. And the key here is it's not just, you know, making a presence on social media and advertising, but putting the right message out there. You've got to
100%.
stand out because you said you got just a few seconds to catch somebody's attention, and if it's like any other advertisement, it just becomes noise and you're wasting your time.
100%. And that's why I love how you brought up adding value, because what happens is, let's call it what it is. We live in a world right now full of scammers. And it seems like a lot of people are just out to make a quick buck. And what happens is it's not what you say, even how you say it. It's how your audience feels when they receive the message. And when you focus in on adding value first and making a sale second, what happens is people feel like you're looking out for them. Now, that
Mhm.
doesn't have to be business related. If you can give value in an area outside of your business, anytime people experience that, all of a sudden you are the one who comes top of mind. I'll give you an example. I'm a huge craft beer fan. And there's a lot of clients that I've had over the years that say, hey, I kind of like craft beer, but it's overwhelming. Anytime I go to Benny's, there's 300 options and I don't know what to
Right.
choose. So what's happened is over the years, I've gotten plenty of impromptu text messages. Hey, I'm at this place. Here's the menu. What should I order? Now, the cool part is that has nothing to do with selling cars, DJing, or marketing. But because I focused in on adding value in an area other than my business, I've now carved out a piece of real estate in that client's brain and something completely unrelated to me. So magical things happen when you focus in on adding value.
Yeah, that is really important, and it's not just about putting an ad out there. You want to buy, you want to buy, you want to buy. It's about delivering that value that becomes memorable, and then you often talk about using humor as well, because humor
For
really people sticks in your mind when you fold in some humor on top of it. But adding value and being a resource as opposed to just selling something is a big differentiator.
It's huge. And just to kind of unpack that a little bit, the humor, it's not just about people making people laugh, it's about creating a connection. Again, know, like, and trust. People go on social media for the most part to be entertained. So,
Right.
what's entertaining? A meme, a GIF, anything that might put a smile on somebody's face. But what happens is if you're going to cut through the noise, you got to be short, sweet, and simple. Less is more. And if you use a meme essentially is just a headline. It's a picture and a caption. But what ends up happening is it's relatable. People share it. It cuts through the
Right.
noise. But the biggest thing is when people laugh, they tend to remember what made them laugh. In this case, that's you, that's your business. And the example that I like to use is a lot of us business folks, we were never really school people. A lot of times we tuned out in school, but I'm sure we can all remember at least two or three stories that somebody in first or fifth grade that a teacher told us that were funny and stuck. 20, 30, 40 years down the road, because humor has a way of doing that. When people laugh, they remember what made them laugh.
Right. Right. Yeah. That is an important component, especially when you're trying to catch somebody's attention. Every for 5 seconds. It's gotta get cemented in their mind.
100%. And then I love what you said about becoming a resource. The beauty of using education based marketing is we all spend money to solve problems, plain and simple. In the business world, people exchange money to solve problems. Now, if you use education in your marketing, what ends up happening is people realize you know your stuff.
Right.
You're no longer viewed as a salesperson, you're viewed as a resource. When people view you as a resource, every now and then somebody might reach out and say, hey, let's go ahead and pick Mike's brain on something. When they
Hmm.
pick your brain, what's happened now is you've just generated a lead, but you've done so by solving a problem.
Right.
At that point, the lead becomes extremely easy to convert and close because there's not really much selling. Somebody made that decision to reach out to you, and at that point, they, for the most part, have an idea of how your product or service can solve their problem.
Right. And to take that one step further, um, people don't want to be sold, but they like to buy. So you provide the
Yep,
value. They come to you as a resource. You add additional value because they're answering a question that they come to you for. And now they decide, this is where I need to purchase my product or my service from. And so it's an easy sale, and it's very valuable to that end user because you are providing that value.
big time. There's a great book that really goes deep on this called The Ultimate Sales Machine. If you're listening to this and you haven't read it, highly recommend it. But if I can pull a quote out of it, one of my favorites is when you sell, what happens is you break rapport. But when you educate, you build it. Education based marketing means you don't really have to sell that much. You just have to say, hey, I can help you if you experience X, Y, or Z situation.
Right, right, and that's awesome. And I know, I participated in your 3 day crash course recently, and that's a big part of I think it's day two. You talk about uh, the education component. Maybe it's day one.
That's that's actually day one
Day
and
one.
day three. But sincerely appreciate your support on that. Yeah, we talk a little bit on day one about the long form content for the
Right.
people who actually want to learn how to write blogs. Actually, for the people who want long form content but prefer to leverage a robot, hence Chat GPT, to
Hmm.
write it for you or at least give you the ideas, we touch up on that on day one. But again, not everybody goes on social media to read. A lot of times we're there to be entertained. Day three is when we shorten it with those bite-sized
Right, right.
infographics.
But having that knowledge, putting that knowledge together, using ChatGPT to formulate it, but it's your knowledge, um, provides additional resource to the end user. So you can kind of whet their appetite with short form content, and then back it up with some long form, and that it really helps build that trust and that education component.
Definitely. Now, I just kind of want to turn it back to you, Mike, and mention, before the call, we were talking about largely what persona marketing does is it caters to B2C businesses. You being in the B2B world,
Right.
what were some of your key takeaways that, you feel that maybe you could implement for precise fleet tracking?
Well, some of them, the reality is it's based most on um, providing essentially the knowledge and answering questions and coming up with the scenarios that if you're experiencing this, for example, in the GPS tracking world, we're doing a lot with helping people retain their assets that are being stolen, mowers and bobcats and vehicles. So so we're putting together a series of graphics that if you're experiencing theft of your assets, certainly people have insurance, which is great, but we'd rather retain these assets and not have to file insurance claims when you get stolen. So we want to help these business owners know where their assets are when distributed across the area, working in their job sites. And again, a lot of these are B2C or B2B type companies, big construction
Mm.
projects, large projects where you might have a bobcat sitting for 2 or 3 or 4 months. Well, oftentimes they end up getting stolen from these job sites, and it's really a problem. So we're helping educate these business owners that if this is a concern, if this is keeping you up at night and you're worried about this, or you've had the experience where you get to a job site in the morning and your equipment's gone, your trailer's been stolen, we help them be able to identify how they can, retrieve these items and continue growing their business.
Now, would it be appropriate to use humor? I mean, do you think you can get away with it with the equipment being stolen?
Well,
Instantly, a bunch of good memes that come to mind, so I figured I'd at least
yeah,
ask.
it does. It's interesting because that's actually when I first learned of your program. That was my first question was, I don't think in terms of humor when it comes to that, but yeah, I think of it, as you've stated so many times, people remember, the funny things. It might trigger
Mm,
somebody to remember the meme because they may not need it today when they see it, but they may need it 3 weeks from
right.
now, and then if they recall it, then it helps connect the dots. So yeah,
I'll give you a grand slam. So on Canva, on day 3, we went over how to source stock
right,
images. So, specifically, if we're talking about bobcats, we're talking about, tradespeople. We're talking about,
right,
the construction site. People will recognize an image of that. So what you can do is you can go on Canva and type in stock image of a construction site. And at that point, all you have to do is just add the speech bubbles and create a cool dialogue that represents somebody talking about equipment getting stolen at another job site. And then you throw the precise fleet tracking logo on it and say, hey, don't let this be you. Call now, get your stuff protected.
sure.
Like you can totally do that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'll have to. I'll work on that this afternoon. But you're right. That's an important component, and that's and, getting back to persona marketing. That's really what I enjoy about having a conversation with you. You know, when you're in your program, your crash course, even though there's a handful of people in a crash course, it feels from as a participant as though it's a one-on-one conversation. So you add so much value to
Thank
me
you. That's
personally.
cool.
Yeah, that is the goal, and it's adds so much value to me, and be able to and then listening to other people's questions as they're going through their scenario. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So it really helped me, and then watching the video back after the fact was really valuable. So I really appreciate the extra effort you go through in your crash course to really make sure that every participant leaves that 3 day program, the 3 hours of effort, with really tangible information that they could use themselves without question. It is not a wasted 3 hours. This is really highly valuable 3 hour period of time.
Sincerely appreciate that, and really grateful for the LinkedIn recommendation that you gave me on that as well. My whole goal with this is to massively over deliver to the point where we cram so much into a 3 hour period that people say, "Oh my God, I get all of this just for that." Mind you, this is the crash course, so there's several things that are coming after that. But by the end of it, first off, let's just address the obvious. Chat GPT is a little over a year old, and it's just completely in 1 year. I've never seen anything in my entire existence change industries to the level of what this is. So everybody now is trying to figure out, hey, how can I do this? How can I implement something related to either AI or Chat GPT and capitalize on this because it's outperforming humans? So the way that I look at this is imagine a time in history where everybody collectively, regardless what industry that we're in, we're trying to figure out how can we do more with less? Expenses are up, labor is up, productivity is down. How can we accomplish more with less? Like imagine having the answer being right in front of you by leveraging AI and just squandering the opportunity. So the whole goal with this is, to your point, I like to keep these groups small. I like to maybe max it out at 20 people, ideally right around 15-ish. That way I can give that personalized one-on-one support, answer questions, answer the phone when is needed, and ultimately just make sure that you feel it was the best investment you ever made.
Right.
But there's a few things that are coming. The level 2 crash course is going to be up within the next couple months. It's going to go a little bit deeper. It's going to dive a little bit more into automating it, bulk creating, sourcing, knocking a whole bunch of stuff out very quickly. Granted, everything that we went over on the crash course can be done and executed in 2 minutes or
Yeah, that's
less.
awesome.
So for
Well, let's dig a little deeper into the future programs here after our break, because I don't want to cut that short, but I want to take a quick break. Before we do that, let's share your contact information. Somebody says I've got to get a hold of Alan Stern. What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
So the best way, my digital business card is thisisalanstern.com. ALANSTERN. All the social media handles will be on there. My cell phone's on there, email, all of that. If you want the ebook, if you want more info on the crash course, it's all on that digital
All
business
right,
card.
this is alanstern.com. Okay, great.
Yes,
I will
sir.
put that in our show notes, and I'll be on the screen here for our YouTube and Rumble viewers, and we'll make sure that everyone can find out how to get a hold of you and get more information and get started with some of your support. But let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll continue talking about the next phase and some successes that you've had. Okay, we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
So we'll be back in just a second. Thank you for listening to I Got a Guy podcast. I hope you're getting a lot of knowledge from this week's guest. But now a word from our sponsor. Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions works with business owners that own commercial vehicles. We help these business owners enhance their growth and profit through the use of GPS tracking technology. Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions is known for three key principles. First, we are very knowledgeable in the field of GPS tracking and always striving to learn more. Second, we are very accessible. We do not hide behind a toll-free number. We do not have any overseas call centers. We know our clients personally, and we are extremely committed to serving all of our clients as we want to be served. And third, we are responsive. We deliver our GPS units promptly and work diligently to install as quickly as possible. Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions is consistently striving to exceed our clients' expectations. You can learn more about Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions at precisefleettracking.com. That's precisefleettracking.com. Or call us at 847-865-6008. That's 847-865-6008. Now, back to the show. Okay, we are back. This is Michael Drelichars, host of I Got a Guy podcast. We are meeting with and chatting with Alan Stern, owner of Persona Marketing, talking all about how he's helping small businesses and individual salespeople maximize their potential and build trust with their client base through his tools and his courses. Alan, thank you for being here.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. So before the break, we talked all about your crash course and what persona marketing is. And you touch a little bit on some enhanced programs, some advanced programs. Let's dig a little deeper into that, and then maybe touch on a few successes that you've experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just condense what we have now, and then I'll just share a little bit
Please.
about what's
That's
coming.
perfect.
So the 3-day crash course within a total of 3 hours. So basically 3 1-hour Zoom calls, 1 week apart, hence 3 days. You will have all of the info that you need to execute your marketing in a time span of 2 minutes or less. Day 1, we focus in on Chat GPT, creating a target customer profile, then using that data to create long form content. Day 2, humor-based marketing. Memes and GIFs, simply putting a caption over either an image or a looping video without sound, which is a GIF. Day 3, one-page infographics on Canva, testimonial graphics, and frequently asked question graphics. All short, simple, easy to read, easy to execute. Now, the cool part about that is no graphic design skills are required. So if you're somebody who's like, hey, I'm great at sales, but marketing and graphic design is not my thing. Even if you're not a techie person, you'll be able to figure that out. But the next tier is people say, hey, I've got this down. How can I make this more efficient? So the level 2 crash course, we're going to talk about bulk creating a lot of these because on Canva, you're actually able to make about 30 days worth of content within a 5-minute period if you know how to feed it correctly. So we go over how to do that. Then as far as the advanced humor, we go over stock images, which we didn't even touch on the first call because it doesn't have to always be original. It just has to look original. Mm-hmm. And in one of my favorite books, Marketing Made Simple by Don Miller, it talks about how branding is simply an exercise in memorization. If you have the same short, simple, repeatable message over different pictures, memes, it looks unique, it sticks, and it's funny so people not only remember it, but they share it. When they share it, they've essentially passed along your business card, but they've done so in a really cool way. And then we dive into some of the more advanced stuffs like audiograms and animated graphics. Also require no graphic design skills. You can use them. You can create these on freemium apps. So that's level 2. And then level 3 is going to be a focus on paid advertisements, landing pages, and actually creating a sales funnel.
Wow. Okay.
So we're a little bit out, but you got some really exciting things that's coming with Persona.
That's tremendous. And that's for small business owners and for individual salespeople, to have that continuum where you can kind of build upon the knowledge that you've learned and add more and be continue to be creative without spending a fortune is tremendous.
For sure. And just as a freebie giveaway again to anybody who's listening to this, if you want my free ebook on how to dominate the newsfeed without spending a dime, just go to getallensbook.com. It's my gift to you, free of charge. The only thing that beats free is fast, and if you want to go fast, that's where the crash course comes in.
Okay, good. Well, that's great information, and all that information is on your digital business card, right? This is allenstern.com as well.
Yes,
so
sir.
That's great. So tell us about some of the you've been doing this for a little while. Tell us some of the successes that you've had and some of the people that you've been able to help as they're building their businesses.
Yeah, at this point, I want to say I've had right around 50 clients go through the crash course. The feedback it's been phenomenal. If you want to see what people are saying, all of that is on my LinkedIn account. I always ask for any sort of constructive feedback out of either a speaking engagement that somebody saw, or B, one of these crash courses that they took. I've had over 100 LinkedIn recommendations of clients just sharing their experience, which has been great. Past 2 years, done about 50 beacon engagements between live and virtual. Thing that I'm most excited about is actually coming up in about a month. Myself and 4 other speakers have teamed up to deliver a half-day summit. So it's a huge event called Break the Mold. We did one last year, had about 100 people attend. So really excited to get that going again. And it's February 9th. It's going to be at Blue Sky Restoration.
So that's an in-person program, or will it be virtual as well?
Yeah, that's going to be in person.
Okay. So where will that be?
It's going to be at Blue Sky Restoration in Rolling Meadows. So it's about 2 minutes from Field Mall. Beautiful venue.
Okay, all right. So if you are in the Chicagoland area, you're welcome to find out more about the event called Break the Mold. And again, they can find information about that at your digital business card as well.
Yeah, it'll just say my next event there. And we're going to cover topics ranging from negotiation, vision, mindset, perspective, all things that will help you connect for success in 2024.
That's great. And that'd be February 9th.
February 9th. It's a Friday.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, good. Yeah, I would love to have our listeners, local listeners here, participate wherever they can and get some extra value and meet you in person. So I know I've been to your live events, and you certainly have a lot of energy, and you do a tremendous job in person. So it's a lot of fun to experience and watch you interact and deliver your content. So that's great.
I appreciate it. It's gonna be an all new presentation at this one as well. Something that I have not delivered before. Yeah, so very excited about it.
Good. Well, good. Well, that's awesome. What other kind of tidbits of knowledge you want to share here with our audience, or any other successes or things you want to kind of deliver here?
So I want to close it out with this to just to really drill the points of how impactful using the HEAT method is. You combine humor, education, adding value, and trust all in your marketing style, and I will give you a tangible way to do one of each. You can meet somebody literally once, years can go by, and they feel like they know, like you, and trust you. So as far as the humor goes, I unpacked a little bit of it. When people laugh, they remember what made them laugh. But the thing is, we're all busy and stressed out right now, folks. So what happens is, if you can put a smile on somebody's face, they will naturally gravitate towards you. What happens is you make somebody laugh. Now they say, I enjoy being around this person. This person's cool. Hell, I'd go and have a beer with this guy. So the rapport and the bond is created there, which is important because people do business with those, again, who they know, like, and trust. Can't get lost in humor, though, because what happens is people will eventually say, are you a comedian or can you actually help me? You combine that with the education piece, which A, shows that you actually know your stuff. You demonstrate your expertise, but you now get viewed as a resource, not a salesperson, which gives you the ability to generate leads without solving problems. So you put the two of those together, and what happens is somebody says, hey, this person's cool because they can make me laugh, but they can actually help me. Right there, you just do those two things, that's going to put you miles ahead of your competition. The third area is adding value, which I don't even like to call it a pillar. It's more of a philosophy. It's more of a way of life. When you give more than you take, giving not only induces reciprocation, but people feel like you're looking out for them.
Absolutely.
If they feel like you're looking out for them, there's not really much selling that's involved. At that point, it's more recommended. So it makes your job a million times easier, which then creates trust. Free value creates trust. Why am I going to tell you that I'm awesome when I can just have a satisfied customer share their success story with me?
Right.
So the easiest way to do that is just by getting if you don't have a free account on LinkedIn and you're a business owner, you should absolutely get one. But these don't need to be on Google or Yelp. You can literally just go on LinkedIn, friend one of your clients, and ask for a recommendation and say, hey, share your experience working with me.
Right.
The reason why I'm doing this is because text is one thing, but text in a picture is another. And when somebody leaves you a LinkedIn recommendation, what happens is people really respect those who are willing to stand behind what they say.
Yeah.
And if somebody is willing to leave you a LinkedIn review that has their picture in their profile right there, they know it's true.
Right.
So you combine all of those together, and now you have the ability to meet somebody once, add them across social, and you stay top of mind in a cool way. So in other words, if you are sick and tired of dealing with cold prospects, all you need to do is drop some heat.
There you go. That's perfect. So let me ask one more question here. How often do you recommend people share new content on social media? Is it weekly, daily?
If you can do it once,
I'm sorry, repeat that.
said if you can do it once a day, that's
Once a
ideal.
day. Okay.
You know what? There's no one size fits all answer because it's industry specific. I'll give you an example. You know, if you're B2B and you post all day on social media, let's just say specifically Facebook and Instagram, I may not know somebody who's a prospect for you. Your people may be on LinkedIn. Now, on the other hand, if you're selling to construction workers, there's a good chance that they are actually on Facebook. But the thing is, it's not about what you post on your personal page. You can also give value in these groups. So there may be a group full of contractors that are venting about somebody got their equipment stolen. All of a sudden, now you can carve out a piece of real estate in that group's brain just by adding value and maybe dropping some jokes. That way, it's some lighthearted humor, and you're staying top of mind. So, you know, it's too broad of a question to really give a one size fits all answer. But I would say, you know what? At least on one of these platforms, just post once a day.
Sure, that makes sense. And I guess the other important component would be to vary the message a little bit, so it's not the same message every day or every time you post, but vary it a little bit, but kind of fold in the same level of humor and knowledge, and it will resonate. It'll grab somebody's attention at some point.
For sure.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, well that's really helpful, and I really I'm so encouraged. I just recently participated in your 3-day crash course, and I do recommend to our listeners definitely check out Alan's digital business card and check out the information about his 3-day crash course. It was such a tremendous use of my time, and as a small business owner, we all wear so many hats and we're doing so many things all the time. But the 3 hours that I invested in his 3-day crash course was a tremendous value, and it's really important to add that to your calendar and participate, because you will walk away from that program with so much knowledge and things you can use that you'll love it as well. So I really encourage you to participate and follow that, and take it from me as a client of Alan's. This is really an important component.
Sincerely appreciate the endorsement, Mike. It means a
Yeah.
ton. If you want more info, just go to allens3daycrashcourse.com, S, and then 3-day crash course. Number 3.
Alan's 3daycrashcourse.com. Great. And all that information will be on the screen for our YouTube and Rumble listeners, but also be in our show notes and in the caption on our website, on the I Got a Guy podcast.com website. So you'll be able to see that and grab that information and link right to it. So really want to make sure that we are as accessible, that the content, the resources that we share here on the show is very accessible to everybody that participates, because nobody wants to be hunting around and digging for this information. As you've mentioned, the attention span of the average adult is so short that we want to make it easy to get that information and utilize get the benefits of it all. So thank you for all that. Alan, I really appreciate you coming on and being a guest again this week for our episode. And I'm proud of what you've grown persona marketing into, and I'm excited to continue to follow your journey and watch you just blossom and help businesses all around the area.
Genuinely appreciate your support, brother. You've been there since day one. You saw the very first presentation.
Yes.
Back when there was no persona marketing, back when it was how to become a one-man content machine on a white background on PowerPoint, looking like a damn high schooler made it. So you were there from day one, man.
I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that. And but your energy level and your knowledge was top of the line. Even though you were just starting out, you had the knowledge and the skills, and you captivated the audience right from day one. So that is a gift, and to be able to take that and parlay it into recurring value that you deliver to business owners is awesome. So you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
And your skill sets that you have. So play to your strengths.
Appreciate you, man. 24 is going to be an amazing year.
It definitely will be. So as we wrap up here, again, I'm going to have all of Alan's contact information, and web links in our notes. Again, my name is Michael Trelachars, not only host of I Got a Guy podcast, but I also own Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions. We help business owners who own commercial vehicles generate additional growth and profit through the use of GPS tracking technology. As we touched on briefly throughout the show, one of the biggest challenges that our business owners are experiencing right now is theft of assets. So we have been very busy installing tracking units in assets, and these assets are sometimes bobcats, skid steers, trailers, lawnmowers, snow blowers, snow plows, just to give the business owners some confidence that if they are stolen, they can identify where they are and they can recover them. So if you are a business owner and you have had any concern about the location of your assets, reach out to Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions. You can find us at our website at precisefleettracking.com. That's precisefleettracking.com. Call us at 847-865-6008. 847-865-6008, or email me at michael@precisefleettracking.com. So again, thank you for being with us again this week. Share this information with your entire social media platform. Tell everybody how the information is so valuable. And if you know a small business owner or an individual salesperson, make sure that they listen to Alan Stern and get some information from Persona Marketing. So again, Alan, thank you again. We appreciate you and wish you the best of luck 2024.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. And to our listeners, we'll talk to you again next week. Make it a great week. Take care. Thank you for listening to I Got a Guy podcast. For past podcasts and more information, go to igotaguypodcast.com. That's igotaguypodcast.com. Please share this podcast on your social media feeds and tune in again next week to I Got a Guy podcast.